Well, Bennett Kessler filed this following report. When deer season opened here on Saturday, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife sent about a dozen additional wardens to the Eastern Sierra. On their way home Monday, the wardens staged a checkpoint south of Bishop to detect anyone who might have violated hunting or fishing laws. Charles James got these photos for Sierra Wave Media. Now, the lieutenant on scene, William Daly, who is local, called the operation, quote, the biggest bang for the buck, end quote. I think, no pun intended. Citizens who contacted Sierra Wave called it a waste of tax dollars and an invasion of privacy. Lieutenant Daly said the wardens stopped to screen every southbound vehicle except semi-trucks, more than 2,000 of them. He said wardens asked the driver if they had been hunting or fishing. If they said yes, they were asked to go up to an area off the highway where Lieutenant Daly said wardens asked for consent to search the vehicle. Now, wardens were looking for illegal game and over limits of fish. They also checked to make sure guns were not loaded. Daly said this kind of operation deters poaching. He said, quote, one of these checkpoints does more good than 1,000 patrols. Word would travel, end quote. Daly said the Eastern Sierra does have problems with poaching and over limits. Now to questions about the legality of searching vehicles for fish and game violations, Lieutenant Daly said there is case law and federal and state codes which allow such searches. Said Daly, quote, we're not looking for drugs or other things. We ask for consent to search and look for illegal game, over limits, and loaded guns, end quote. Now, in an earlier press release, Fish and Wildlife said the checkpoint was conducted to protect and conserve fish and wildlife, to encourage safety and sportsmanship by promoting voluntary compliance with laws, rules, and regulations through education. Now, the release also said all anglers and hunters would be required to stop and submit to an inspection. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this story. Since the end of August, when word leaked out that the town council might dismiss their town manager, residents of Mammoth have pointed fingers at what some see as a dysfunctional and secretive council. Mayor Rick Wood spoke to that when the council met last week. Now, Wood's comments followed statements made by longtime Mammoth resident Paul Rudder. He stood up and during public comment brought up a potential 30-year contract with Mammoth Disposal. Rudder said he hopes the council will appoint a commission to look at that. He said there needs to be a great deal of transparency and much more community involvement. The council has talked in closed session about buying land next to the disposal company and letting them use it for a recycling center. There has been no open talk about this on the council's agenda. Rudder's comments echoed earlier criticisms about a lack of transparency and what the council does. Mayor Wood told Rudder that the process will be very public and transparent. Then he moved on to say that it's not a secret that the town has been in transition. He said it's been, quote, an extraordinary couple of years. We faced down the worst economic crisis in this town's history, end quote. Now, Wood also said that there have been some tough and politically controversial decisions. He said the council has 5 thoughtful members that come from different perspectives. Referring to the apparent ouster of the town manager, Wood said, quote, we've made some difficult decisions in the last couple of weeks, end quote. Then he turned to Tom Cage, sitting in the audience, who Wood said was, quote, bold enough to suggest he might be able to help in a position of leadership, end quote. Now, reliable sources had said that the council was considering firing town manager Mariana Marashiva Martinez and hiring Tom Cage. The community feedback was critical. Mayor Wood said that Cage, quote, got blasted pretty hard by people in the community for volunteering to do what he thought in his heart and in his head could be something for this council to consider, end quote. Now, although council members have said virtually nothing about what went on with their manager, Mayor Wood did say, quote, for the record, this council did not vote to replace the town manager with another town manager. We have considered a whole lot of options, end quote. Wood then thanked Cage for stepping up. You didn't have to do that, he said. You didn't have to take the heat. Later, Cage said it was nice of Wood to say what he said. Said Cage, quote, "He did not need to do that, so I appreciated it very much," end quote. Cage went on to say, "As you know, my intent was to try to help the community, which I feel I could have. It would have been a difficult and bold move for the town council to institute such a change in management. I respect their decision or non-action and will continue to be involved in my community," end quote. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this story. Mammoth Town Councilman Michael Raimondo wants to see the town buy Sam's Wood site to make sure it remains an events venue for years to come. The council talked about a possible purchase in a closed session on property negotiations last Wednesday night. Now, that session prompted questions from the public on a for sale sign with Matthew Lehman's name on it at the Wood site. Now, Lehman confirmed that he does have and has had for several years a for sale sign on the Wood site. Lehman said that in addition to being an appraiser, he is also a real estate broker. He said, quote, "Although I work heavily in residential real estate, my primary area of expertise has been commercial real estate for some time," end quote. Now, Councilman Lehman explained that he will not benefit on any sale of the Wood site by his seat on the town council. He said, to be clear, "I've not and won't act in the capacity of a town council person with regard to the Wood site. When the idea of discussing the Wood site came up in open session a few weeks ago," said Lehman, "I made sure to have immediate discussions with the town attorney on how to best approach the situation." Now, Lehman further explained, "I will not be discussing the Wood site as an advocate for or against its purchase, nor will I be voting on anything related to this property should the need for a vote arise. I will be recusing myself from any meetings regarding the Wood site. In the event the town were to purchase the property, I would not be able to receive compensation." Lehman called this, quote, "a unique situation, but not completely uncommon in a small town," end quote. Well, 3 public meetings to discuss the proposed ATV trail system have been scheduled to take place. The first one this Wednesday, that's September 25th, 6 p.m. at the Bishop Senior Center on Spruce Street. Other meetings are Monday, October 7th at the Tallman Pavilion at the Tri-County Fairgrounds and Tuesday, October 15th at the Bishop City Council Chambers. Now, a press release from the City of Bishop states these public meetings have been scheduled to give residents and local community members a chance to review and comment on the proposed ATV trail system. All parties who are interested in the proposed ATV trail system are encouraged to attend. We'll be back with more news.